Let's see, 3, 2, 1, boom, guys. We're back at you with another movie review.
Oh yeah, we are back.
Yes,
And
sir.
we got a good one lined up tonight.
Yes, we got a cool one up here for you guys. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the movie Black Dog starring Patrick Swayze.
Oh yeah.
Which is it's a pretty good action film from the 90s. I would say it's nothing like great, but it's pretty cool. You know?
Yeah, so I mean, there's some good scenes in it. There's some good chase scenes. It's a good storyline.
Yeah, and there is some good dialogue throughout the film, but the good dialogue goes to Meatloaf.
Yeah, Meatloaf, he was an awesome character.
Yeah, I have to say I liked his character probably the most in the film. But Let's see, Black Dog. This movie came out May of 1998, long time ago.
Yeah, 27 years.
Yes, which stars Patrick Swayze, Randy Travis, Meatloaf's in it, Charles S. Dutton.
Yeah.
Along with a few others. And before we get into this review, I wanted to talk about me and you actually seeing this at the theaters.
Yeah, well, it's funny. It's got a funny story to go along with this. We went, we lived in an area where we had a movie theater quite a ways away, and we'd always ride our bikes up there, chain them up, go watch a movie, and then come out, unchain our bikes, and leave. Well, this particular time we went there, chained up our bikes, went in, watched Black Dog, came out, walked out, and noticed our bikes were gone.
Yeah, our bikes were gone. So either somebody stole them or the people that worked there cut the chains and took the bikes, because we didn't go to a movie theater there's a movie theater in the mall. We didn't just go to some average movie theater.
Yeah,
we went into, they had a mall which showed movies there, and they were actually pretty cheap. Like, it was called like the Dollar Show. Yeah, and you could watch movies for like $1.50 or $1 or something like that.
Yeah.
And we went up there, so we had our bikes locked up at the mall, and we went in and watched Black Dog. And I think you came out like halfway through or something like that, or was it was it fully done?
Yeah, we were coming out, and we were walking out. And I remember I made a comment like, "Oh man, we're gonna walk out here on our bikes," just because
joking around, right?
I always say something like, "Oh man, our bikes are gonna be gone, dude. What are we gonna do?" And like, yeah, right. We're gonna fuck with our bikes, and
and actually they were gone.
I was like, "Oh motherfucker."
So yeah, I figured I'd tell that story because it is kind of funny. But I mean,
the only thing I thought that I saw like where our bikes were like pieces of the chains that we had our bikes hooked up at.
Somebody got some chain cutters and cut that motherfucker.
Cutters or something and just snip.
Yeah. But anyways, we've seen this film at the theaters, and I always thought it was a pretty cool movie. It's a good like action movie for Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to go over something here beforehand, which I thought was really interesting that I had no idea about until I read this on the Wikipedia, which is prior to casting Swayze in the film. The film initially intended as a vehicle for Kevin Sorbo. So Kevin Sorbo, who played Hercules, back in the 90s, he was originally going to be cast in Black Dog, which I thought interesting. And they said, let's see, Sorbo would star in Black Dog for around $3 million, and he says because he was intended to shoot. They intended to shoot in September during Sorbo's hiatus with Hercules. And then in September, Meatloaf and Randy Travis were signed to star opposite Sorbo. But it says by November of that year, it was reported that Patrick Swayze would star in Black Dog.
Yeah.
So I guess they couldn't, because of his scheduling with Hercules, I guess he couldn't do it, I guess. But they're not really saying. But yeah, that's kind of interesting that Kevin Sorbo was originally going to star in this film.
Yeah.
But all in all, it ended up going to Patrick Swayze. So this movie pretty much starts out with Charles S. Dutton and that other
FBI agent. They're tailing a truck that's got a load of guns on it, and they're trying to maintain, a certain distance so they don't let the guy catch on, so they can catch him who he's taking it to. And right before they're going to get there, as they're following, you see this black Mustang roll up beside of them with I think his name is, if I want to say it right, it's Steven Tobolowsky. I think that's who it is, but he's sitting there with another guy driving. Charles S. Dutton's looking over at him like, wait, who the fuck is this? And what are they doing? Obviously they look
they look like bad guys up to something.
Yeah. So at that point, the driver of the truck notices all these cars behind him, is like, okay, this is not cool. It's time to check out.
Right.
And he starts, a chase. Another Mustang gets involved. Another FBI agent car gets involved. And they're all chasing, crashing into cars. And he winds up dumping the load, which you find out is just, is a load of, heavy artillery guns like machine guns, AK-47s, and
Right. I mean, the FBI and the ATF agents pursue the truck carrying illegal guns.
Yeah,
the result is the death of the driver.
Yeah, and then the cops finally have a roadblock set up, and guy tries to go around it and crashes into a bunch of construction equipment, blows up, and then we learn that the guys in the Mustangs were ATF agents, and they're all getting up to each other like, DA, ATF, you're like, what is going on here? You're like, we're all in, they're all on the same thing, we're trying to stop the guns from coming up. And
it leads to them in a disagreement between the agencies involved in the case, and they're like, kind of like yelling back and forth at each other.
Yeah, I like what Charles S. Dutton said. He's like, ATF, what does that stand for, huh? Alcohol, tobacco, and fuck-ups. Yeah. And the other guy's like, a lot of hostility. Yeah.
And then meanwhile, truck driver Jack Cruz is released from jail for manslaughter. He accidentally hit and killed a
guy he was in a state of exhaustion and overtired, and he saw this black dog running at him, and
he's experiencing a black dog hallucination.
Yeah. And then you see that he works at a place where they're fixing big rigs, and this one guy walks up and he's shouting out all these orders, I need this done today. Hey, come on! And he goes up to Patrick Swayze. He's like, Cruz, I need this truck today. He's like, I thought we didn't need it till tomorrow. I was like, I don't give a shit what Cutler says. I got a lot of loads going out, and I need this one today.
Yeah.
And so he's like, okay, I got to stay late, get this truck done, and then at the end of the day, he goes into the office, and
where the real bad guy is.
Yeah, I forget. I know they said his name was Cutler.
Yeah.
And he offers him a job to run a load from Georgia up to there, and said that he'd pay him $10,000. And Patrick Swayze initially no, if you all know, I lost my license when I went to jail, and and
he's pretty much he wants this to be low key type shit.
Yeah, he don't want to try to break the law or nothing, and then you see him, later on, he goes home and to his wife and his daughter, and they're having dinner, and And later on that night, there's a moment between him and his wife that he goes down to get some candles and opens a drawer and sees, a collection notice for $9,000, and
right.
And they find out that if they don't pay this money, that they're going to lose their house, and
which sucks.
And then him and his wife, they get into an argument, and his wife's saying, like, we'll just rent a place back in Newark till we get back on our feet. And he's like, no, I work too damn hard to get in a nice area where Tracy can have a yard and a school without metal detectors in the halls.
Right.
And then he tells her that he got offered the job driving, pays $10,000. It's one run from, and she's like, last time you said it was just going to be one run, it cost us everything. Yeah. So obviously she's against it, and
which is understandable.
Yeah. And then, the next day you see him, he gets on a plane and goes to
see Loaf and his people.
Yeah, to meet them and get the truck and, get introduced to Randy Travis,
right.
Pulling up a brand new truck. And
he had a brand new truck that he wanted to drive, but Patrick Swayze didn't want to do that.
No, because he thought that, that truck would draw way too much attention, brand new, rig.
Right.
And
he didn't want
so
that.
He calls over the other guy, Junior, and he tells him, like, show this man a truck of more of his stature.
Yeah.
And you see they come up to this older model truck, and he's telling them, like, talking about what kind of engine, what kind of transmission, and he's like, how are the brakes? New. Put them on myself. And the rubber, almost new.
Yeah.
Ain't no recaps.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, and then it's when the two other guys come as backup for the trucker.
Yeah, Sonny and Wes, and Sonny's not down with like having Patrick Swayze come up because like, wait, this isn't how it's supposed to go.
Right.
Because originally they were all thinking that Randy Travis was going to drive the load, and they're like, but the fact that that the other guy sent a driver, like his own driver, to come drive the load.
Right. And
it's just weird because they sent Randy. If I was Patrick Swayze, once I learned that they were going to have Sonny and Wes like following us in a car the whole way, that would throw up a red flag right there with me. It's like, this is just a load of fucking toilets. Why does somebody need to fucking follow me?
Right. That would be a red flag for me, but...
Yeah, that would be like, wait a minute, something is absolutely is not right here. Because, they would open the door and show them, it's like toilets, 5-gallon flush. You want to look any closer? And he's like, I'm just here to drive.
Right, but actually there's guns in a lot of those containers.
Yeah.
But yeah, they end up stopping to use the bathroom.
Yeah, they stop and use the bathroom,
and then they're back on the road.
And then
that's when the first group of people come up with like shotguns or something.
No, it was like that. But you see, Sonny and Wes. There's some dialogue between them and.
Oh yeah, Wes, about him.
Wes likes to play this game called Fadiddle, where if you see a car with a headlight out, you yell Fadiddle, and and Sonny's telling him like, it's daylight, Wes. As they're talking, he looks behind him and there's a car coming up on him that you can see they have a broken headlight.
Yeah. Even before that, Randy, what's his name? Randy Travis. He's trying to sing the fucking Patrick Swayze.
He's some lyrics. And normally Randy Travis is a good singer.
Yeah, but
he started singing. He was fucking terrible.
Yeah, well, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, he's like, don't you see my heart growing?
That was kind of funny. But yeah, that's when they encounter some other car, trying to run the blue car off the fucking road and shit.
Yeah, I love how they roll up, and the guy's like, I told you we could play fiddle in the day. He's like, what? He's like, fiddle, right behind us. And he looks out, and as soon as he looks out over, the guys roll up beside him, and the guy just points out with a shotgun and blows their whole back window out.
Right. And I believe that's the same car that, like, it might have been a different car, or it could have been the same car that got him on the side.
Yeah, that's the same. It's the same scene.
Okay, yeah. I wasn't sure if it was the same car or another car, because they
run off the road, they drive through like a field, and then they get back on the road, and at one point it's a Monte Carlo that the guys are driving.
Because they have quite a few encounters.
Yeah.
But I like the part where he's got him on the side and he's ramming him.
Spins the car sideways and is like pushing it sideways, which I find unrealistic, because if you would have been pushing a car sideways like that, your tires would have completely blown out.
I agree with you, but I'd tell you this film is more realistic than any of the newer Fast and fucking Furious films.
Oh, absolutely.
Hands down.
Yeah, they're pushing him sideways, and then Patrick Swayze gets on the CB because the guy at one point is pushing him, and he hits his brakes, backs off the guy, then comes in and hits him again, and Patrick Swayze goes, Sonny, next time he backs off, floor it. Can you do that? He's like, okay, I'm gonna try.
Yeah, which he ends up doing.
Yeah, he goes up and he's like, okay, now go, what?
Right.
And he slams on his brakes. It causes the car to fucking rear end the damn big rig.
Yeah. That was a hell of a scene. Didn't he go through that fucking car ends up fucking blowing up, and those guys end up dying.
Yeah,
and you know what's weird is Patrick Swayze and Randy Travis didn't act like it was nothing. It's like, oh no, we just killed two guys, but we're gonna keep driving.
All Randy Travis could say is like, yeah, you can drive.
Yeah, I'm thinking, wait a minute, no, you should pull over and call the cops. I mean, two people's lives are gone. What the fuck?
In a real life deal, I think you would have pulled over and be like, what the hell's going on here?
And that's when they decide to see, okay, what's in this fucking truck.
Yeah, he gets out and he's like,
they find machine guns.
Yeah, he's like, if they're willing to kill us to get this load, I need to know exactly what they want.
Exactly, yeah.
And you see they have all the same kind of assault weapons that you saw in the earlier load that in the beginning of the movie.
Right. And that's when the main bad guy calls Patrick Swayze, or maybe Patrick Swayze calls the main bad guy. He's
tells him that he's having a problem, that that Meatloaf's trying to hijack the load.
Right.
And the guy's telling him that if you need to get this truck here. If you can't handle red, you tell me now.
Right. And then
they get back. So they get back on the road. And then they had to get. Remember, they wound up having a decision of taking one or two ways, and
that's when he has what's his name, Sonny, get into the vehicle and have Randy Travis get in the other, because he doesn't trust Randy Travis.
Because he thinks Randy Travis is in on it,
right? Which he's not.
Yeah,
but he thinks he is.
So he's riding with Sonny. I can't remember that guy's name. I want to say it's Gabriel something.
Okay.
But
yeah, it is Gabriel.
Huh?
It is Gabriel.
Okay.
Cassius or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen him in several other movies before. I just can't remember. But he's riding shotgun with Patrick Swayze, and he's telling them, they're having a conversation. They get to the cross point, and he's like, there's a way station on both these roads.
Yeah, Randy's telling him to go one way, he ends up going the other.
Yeah, Earl says take 85, and he's like, yeah, well, fuck what Earl says. I'm going this way.
Which is another mistake.
I told him not to take 26.
Yeah. So they have to go to this truck stop.
Yeah, they have to hit a weigh-in. If if you're a truck driver and you pass by one of those like weigh stations and they're telling you the trucks to pull over, like you have to pull over. If you pass the weigh station, like the cops are going to be pulling you over.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to like stop at the weigh station. And he gets there and they start weighing the truck, and you see Sonny get out of the truck, and you see him get on the phone, and what makes Randy Travis kind of suspicious.
Right.
And so he's getting his gun ready, I guess, because there's going to be like fireworks going, because they weigh the truck, and they said you're like right at the limit. He's like, you got to load a bathroom fixture or something. He's like, yeah, toilets. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, you just pull up right over here, and we're just going to take a quick look in the bag.
Yeah, which he does, and
he opens it, and at that point when he's getting ready to look in, you see the guy in the inside building getting a phone call, and then later he walks out and calls the other guy out of there to go back in the building, because apparently the FBI called them and basically told them to like just let him through.
Right. So they end up going, but then that's around the time where his wife and daughter get kidnapped.
No, it wasn't at that point. It was after the second.
Well, yeah, they were talking for a little while.
Yeah, and then they wound up talking and different stuff, and then they wound up getting into another like thing when the guys in Pryor, come rolling up in their each individual like big rigs.
Yeah, that's right. But the kidnapping happened right beforehand of the wife and daughter. Because because after they get through that, he gets the phone call saying that they have his wife and daughter, and he's telling them like, I'm gonna deliver this truck, and ain't nothing gonna get in my way. Right, but this is when they encounter a couple trucks.
They got the Junior and the two other guys who tried to help out earlier. They're all driving trucks, and they all each get around in front, behind, and the side of them, trying to like box them in. And he's like, "Okay, I see how this is gonna go." So he hits the high gear and starts pushing the other truck up the hill, and the guy's like, "Junior, he's pushing me up the damn hill. Watch your brakes. And he just slams on the brakes, and you just see like the wheels of his truck just locking up and skidding as he's pushing them, and Randy Travis is telling him like, back off, Cruz, you're gonna burn it up. Like he's gonna burn up the engine, putting all that. I mean, you're going uphill with a heavy ass load, and then you're pushing another truck up the hill.
Yeah. And that red truck is fucked up, man.
Yeah. Remember, he knocks the one thing off, and the guy is basically, because he burned up his brakes and he's going downhill, and Patrick Swayze is telling him, like, if he doesn't catch that gear, he's out of here. And sure enough, he's gone. He wrecks the other guy, and then it basically came down to him and that one Junior guy that runs him off the road, smashes into a tanker truck.
Yeah. It was pretty wild.
They stop again.
They stop again, and they're like, okay, who the fuck? How do they know where the fuck are we being followed?
He's like, one of you is telling Red every move we make. He's like, Sonny made a call back at the thing. I called my mother. What about? He's like, what about you? You had plenty of time to make that call. If I wanted these guns, I'd have killed you the moment we pulled out.
Right. It ends up being the other guy, though.
Yeah, and Patrick Swayze, he's like, what about Wes?
Yeah, which was in the bathroom.
Yeah, and he's like, what's going on here, guys? What did I do? He's like, you pissed too much, Wes. And he pulls up his shirt and he shows them, a scar, and he's telling them, I got shot 2 years ago. I had to wear a catheter bag for a year and a half. So if I gotta take a piss, you can believe that I gotta take a piss.
Yeah, his story sounded good at first until
Yeah, he told him, like, he's like, who are you on the phone to? What? He's like, I'm just checking my messages.
Yeah.
I got a life. What about Cruz? You tell him to take 86, and he takes that way. Drives right up to that way station, basically handing us all in.
Yeah, and he had a gun, so they had a standoff there for a minute.
Yeah, I love how he's pointing the gun at, and they're all pointing in Randy trying to tell, like, the 1 second it takes you to point that gun to me, I'm gonna blow your ass away.
Yeah.
So he's like, so go ahead, shoot him.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the bad guy is I believe he's telling Patrick Swayze, hey, I got your wife and kids.
Patrick Swayze's phone starts going off, and
right.
And like they're all grabbing their phones, like, hello, yeah. It's like, it's for you. I love the cool move. He throws the phone at Wes, and Sonny does this real cool sidekick and like elbow, shot to him.
Right.
And then Patrick reveals that it's his phone that's ringing. He's telling him that's when you find out that Cutler guy has his fucking wife and daughter, and
right.
He's telling them, like, that's what he tells all of them, like, I'm going to deliver that truck, and nothing is going to get in my way.
Yeah. That's when Meatloaf's like, okay, he sees the damage that's being done. He's like, oh, okay, this is a real good motherfucking driver or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They end up tying up that one guy.
Oh, no, you're talking about when Meatloaf sees the destruction of his...
Yeah, he sees his truck set on fire and shit.
Yeah, he says, like, some kind of, like, Bible verse, like, I shall not... That boy, he's talking about, that boy never could drive. He's talking about his guy that died.
Yeah.
About Junior, he's like, that boy never could drive.
So they end up tying up that one guy.
Yeah, there's some dialogue where he's telling Randy Travis and Sonny that what's going on. They got his wife and daughter. And
at some point, when they're back on the road driving, they got 2 bikers now coming after them.
Yeah, and
it's like, damn.
You got Wes, like, in the back of the truck, like,
right. You got 2 bikers coming after him, and you got Meatloaf now coming after him.
Yeah. And one of the guys gets on the truck. You know what's funny? When the guy gets on the truck, he causes his bike to fall, and the other biker that was with him, it actually hit the bike and went flying. And I love how Patrick Swayze tells him, ooh, roadkill.
Yeah. And he ends up fighting this other biker who's behind his truck trying to pull wires and shit out.
Yeah, they're doing what they can to stop the damn truck.
Right. He ends up getting shot in the arm by
he gets shot, beats up the one guy, throws him on Red's windshield where Red
then
goes off the road and crashes.
Well, before that, doesn't he come around to the other side? He shoots Sonny.
Yeah, Sonny tries to point a gun and he gets shot, and then right before that, then he gets the guy thrown on and crashes. And then crashes,
and Sonny...
I love his reaction after he crashes.
Yeah, he's like, pissed.
Damn! You're finished, Cruz! Your ass is mine!
Yeah. And that's when Sonny reveals who he is.
Yeah, right before he dies.
Yeah,
he's telling them, like, they know where we are. I'm FBI.
Yeah.
It sucked, I mean...
He should have lived. I don't think he should have died in the film.
Yeah. But he dies, and then they find out that he's FBI, and, Patrick Swayze patches his arm up, and...
Right.
And then he remembers what he was saying, so he goes in the back of the truck and looks, and seeing that they had a tracking device the whole time on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he goes to a place where, they're at a diner.
Yeah.
And he's trying to call the FBI guys, like, he's like, your officer, your agent is dead, and I got information.
Yeah.
Hello. And so they give, let Wes, hop in another truck and head back with another guy.
Well, he was asking Randy Travis and the other guy, he's like, look, do you want to stay or do you want to go?
Yeah, and Randy Travis said that he would stay, and then Wes is like, I'm out.
Right.
And so, he puts a tracking device on that truck.
Yeah, where Wes is on.
Yeah, and then the cops, stop him, and Wes has him on the phone like, it's for you.
Yeah. So pretty much he's telling them where they're going to be.
We got the guns, we got this, we know we're going to meet up. If you want this case, this is what you need to do.
Right, which they do. Patrick Swayze ends up meeting with the bad guy where they have his wife and daughter.
Yeah. And I love how, they have his wife and daughter, and Patrick Swayze thought that he had the guns, on a crane, above the water, and, I'd been, if I would have been that main bad guy color, I'd have looked up and you really fucking kidding me right now? You think dumping my guns is going to be worth your family?
Right.
And, I mean, if it would have been me, that's how I would have done it. I'd have been like, look, dude, you shut the guns down. I'm going to put a bullet in your wife right now.
Right. Well, he pretty much said, I could replace the guns.
He's telling them, I can always get more guns. Can you get any family?
Yeah. Which is crazy.
And then the ATF and the FBI, they all show up, and there's a big shootout. And,
right.
In the situation, of course, all the bad guys wind up getting killed. And
yeah, Patrick Swayze ends up fighting one of the guys, and then the main bad guy.
And then he fights the main bad guy, and then right when he's about to kill him, he's got him in a chokehold, and the cops are coming up and his wife's like, Jack, it's enough. It's over.
Right, which it was.
Yeah, and then he lets him go, embraces his wife, which...
Also, during the madness, Randy Travis gets shot.
Yeah, Randy Travis gets shot, and at one point, Patrick Swayze, has his daughter, hide in, a boat with a tarp on it or whatever. It's like, stay here, I come and get you.
Right, and then the next day, they're having Randy Travis get into an ambulance.
Yeah, and you see the one Cutler guy get put in the back of a police car and taken away, and
Charles S. Dutton and that other guy.
They come up and ask him thanking him for bringing Sonny's body and. Agreeing to all this and helping, get their suspect.
And I think they were going to let him drive again and all this stuff, everything's...
Yeah, they were going to, they basically said that they're going to find a way to help him keep his house, and they gave him his license back, and...
Right.
And they're like, would you please drive the truck cab to the impound yard? I don't have a license. Well... according to Agent Ford here, you do.
Yeah. And they start driving, and this is one of the best parts, is when Loaf shows up again.
Yeah, he just shows up out of nowhere in another rig.
Right.
And he just hits him. He's welcome to the Garden State Cruise. And they're chasing, smashing into each other. At one point, he pulls up next to him, and he's yelling, "Witness the resurrection, my brothers and sisters."
That's the best dialogue in the film.
And they say, "Witness Jack Cruz, you miserable asshole." And they start crashing and chasing, and at one point...
Yeah, he ends up flipping his fucking truck.
Yeah, I love how right before he dies, he's saying that verse, now that I walk through the shadow of the valley of death, and I will fear no evil.
Yeah.
Smashes and flips, and then he explodes, and then that damn rolls right in front of a train, and a train nails him.
Yeah, it's damn, what a bad way to go.
Damn, that's kind of overkill if you ask me.
Yeah, but damn, yeah.
But then they stopped, they're looking, and just like how you were saying earlier, they take they know somebody died. They're just oh well, let's go home.
Right, yeah, let's just go. And then that's when the credits roll, and it's showing that his truck in flames.
Yeah, and if you notice, that if you watch at the very end, you see like even Charles S. Dutton showed. So
yeah,
his car was there, and I was like, wait a minute, like how did they just appear? I mean, yeah, they probably all could have took off at the same time, and then got the report like, oh, we got vehicles smashing each other back here.
Right. But all in all, this is a pretty good film.
A good entertaining, good chase, action. It's got basically got it all in it. Got a good storyline.
Had some good dialogue.
Yeah, great cast.
Yeah, the casting was pretty unique. I feel even though I'm reading that the Rotten Tomatoes, it only got a 14% approval rating, which isn't nothing good. In the movie,
there was a lot of things in that movie that were kind of stupid.
Right.
Like you said, like when people are getting killed, they're just simply like, oh well.
Right. Yeah. It's almost like it was nothing, But I'm not sure. It's not saying how much, like, the film, what they made it for, but they said the box office made about $12,900,000. Which is, I guess that's not bad, but that's really not. That's not really great either. Usually, bigger, big budget movies or movies that hit the theaters usually do a lot better than that. But so I don't know what the budget was because it's not saying, but the box office was only close to 13 million.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably spent way more than that to make that movie.
Yeah, it probably was more. Yeah.
Destroyed and all the trucks and all the carnage.
I'm gonna guess the movie probably cost anywhere from,
I'd say 30 to 40 million.
I'd say anywhere from like 15 to 25 million. But you say what, 30 to 40?
Yeah, I'd say, because just the way you gotta know, a lot of that shit wasn't cheap.
Right.
Be going down highways like that, they gotta pay to have the highways shut down so they can have the chase scenes and.
Right.
You got to know all that shit was not cheap.
Right. I'm gonna look this up real quick.
Yeah, see how much money.
See what the budget was on this film, but it's a cool film, for a Patrick Swayze movie. Like I said, it's nothing great, but it was cool for its time.
It's a movie to entertain you, is what it is.
Right.
if you're an action guy. This movie's got what you're looking for. It's got car chases. It's got carnage. It's got it's got your your drama with Patrick Swayze and his wife with the losing the house and got to do this job to you got your sad scenes like when Sonny dies. And
okay, yeah, you were pretty right on this. It says. Black Dog had an estimated budget of 30 million.
Yeah,
I was thinking anywhere from like 15 to 25 million, but
so they lost about $17 million.
Yeah, and the gross was like 13. So yeah, they lost out on that one.
That's a heavy loss. Losing.
That's a big loss. Plus advertising too. It costs money to advertise.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a fail at the theaters, unfortunately, but still a good movie. And this is one film that I don't really hear many people talk about.
Yeah. If you're a car guy like I am, and you like car chases.
Yeah, if you're into Fast and Furious, I think you'll like this.
This is basically like Fast and Furious, but with big rigs.
Yeah, with big rigs. Kind of like that, yeah. Before Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, you had Black Dog, and Fast and Furious, but only with big rigs.
Yeah. Well, it's a pretty good movie. I'd probably give it like a 6.5 or 7 out of 10.
I'd say I'd give it about 7. I tell you what was funny is when they're telling them at the end, like, you want to drive the truck cab to the impact? It's like, man, you mean I got to get back into that fucking abused piece of shit? Hell no, y'all drive that fucking thing yourself. Yeah. It's like, I love how the dog's like, oh, can we, Daddy? It's like, baby, do you realize what I've been through in that damn truck now? It's funny. He had his daughter sitting in the back where Sonny died.
Yeah.
You know, that was kind of silly. Oh yeah, baby, you just sit back here where a guy died at. It's no biggie though. Right. You got your dog with you.
But yeah, this is an interesting casting. I mean, you got Patrick Swayze, Randy Travis, Meatloaf. You know, Charles
Dutton, Stephen Tobolowsky. You got that Gabriel guy who played Sonny. You know, even
wait a minute.
What?
What the fuck? I didn't know this.
What?
Kevin Nash as Norman?
Kevin Nash?
Kevin Nash, the fucking wrestler. As Norman. I don't remember seeing him in the fucking movie at all.
I don't either, unless maybe he was just like one of...
Was he like one of the henchmen or something?
I'd have to go back and watch it again now because I would have thought I would have noticed that seeing Kevin Nash.
It says Kevin Nash as Norman. Was he like one of the bad guys in the rig or something?
No, I mean he was not. Unless maybe he just made like a little appearance, like. I don't know, man. That's got me fucked up now. Like, I'm going to have to go back and watch that.
Because I'm looking over... I'm on the Wikipedia. I'm looking over the cast. I'm like, wait a minute. It says Kevin Nash as Norman. And I'm like... And I'm on his thing, and it's showing his face. I'm like, okay. That's different. Because I don't recall seeing his ass in the movie at all. And I had no idea he was in the fucking movie.
Unless, like I say, he was just like a background character in one of the scenes. Maybe when he went to that Meatloaf's place, maybe he was one of them guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. It's like one of his bad guys or something. Yeah,
might have been just somebody that you saw like just like a quick glance of, and
that's interesting.
I'd have to go back and watch that now.
That's fucking That I find interesting because I don't recall seeing him in the movie at all.
It's funny as we're making this review, we're just finding out Kevin Nash was in the movie. We didn't even see him.
Yeah, and we always watch the film right before we review the fucking film.
Yeah, and
I just don't recall seeing him in the film at all.
No,
unless if his scenes got cut out or something, or a very small scene.
Yeah, like I said, he was just like a quick glance at him as like maybe like a background character or something.
Right.
That's all I could think because I mean, I don't know. I'd have to go. Like I said,
that's trippy.
We get done.
We'll get done with this. We'll have to skim through it and see where we can find him because I had no idea Kevin Nash was in this film. Yeah, it just says Kevin Nash as somebody named Norman.
Huh.
That's interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, definitely. We definitely have to do some research on that now.
Yeah, I'm going to research that, but good movie. All in all, I enjoyed it. It's a good movie. Unfortunately, though, Patrick Swayze has passed away and Meatloaf has passed away. Yeah. They're both gone now.
Two really great actors.
Yeah. But pretty cool film from the 90s. But I think that's it. We're gonna wrap this one up, guys, and
we're gonna, as soon as we get off this, we're gonna do our research and find out where we can spot Kevin Nash in the movie.
Let us know in the comments below if you guys knew that Kevin Nash was in this movie.
Because I promise you,
that's crazy. I had no idea.
As we're shooting this right now, up to this moment, all these years I've known of this movie, I never knew until you said it that Kevin Nash was in the movie.
Yeah, I never knew until I said it because I'm looking through the cast. I'm like, wait a minute, it says Kevin Nash as Norman, and I clicked on the name, and it's showing actually Kevin Nash.
Huh,
and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm going through Kevin Nash's Wikipedia right now, filmography, and sure enough, Black Dog as Norman. I'm like, okay, now you got my attention.
Why would you cast somebody like Kevin Nash in a movie and just have him like okay, like I said, we just watched it,
and I didn't see him.
And yeah, neither me or you saw him.
Yeah, I mean, when he was in The Punisher as the Russian, you definitely seen him, or the longest yard, or Grandma's Boy.
Absolutely. If I would have seen him in the movie, I would have definitely known for sure. Like, holy shit, that's Kevin Nash.
Yeah, he had to been like when you first seen Meatloaf, in his yard area where the guys are fixing on the cars and shit.
Like I say, he could have just been a little background character somewhere that, yeah.
I mean, I just don't know. Maybe he was at the beginning with the cars and shit. And that truck was blown up. We'll look for it for sure, but let us know in the comments below. Where's Kevin Nash at?
Yeah.
That's
play a game of like, where's Waldo?
Right.
Where's Waldo? It's where's Kevin Nash.
Which is pretty interesting. But yeah, that was cool, man. Hell yeah. Good film from the 90s. A lot of cool action.
Yes, sir.
But anyways, we'll go ahead and wrap this one up, guys. That is it for this movie review. We're out of here for now, and I hope you all have a kick-ass day. Peace.
Later.